Peace and blessings, family, and welcome to Labors of Love podcast, the Fatherhood series. We are here to inspire, uplift, and enlighten. Each episode, we will be hearing from fathers sharing their perspectives and experiences on all aspects of the fatherhood journey. This evening, I have the privilege of speaking with Caujuan Mayo, a husband, father, and successful entrepreneur. He is a high six-figure earner in multiple companies, including a book publishing company with over 10 books in his catalog. As a business coach, product creator, and team leader, Caujuan teaches others how to become successful working from home and online. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome. All right, we are about to just jump into it. I'm so grateful to have you here with us this evening. I feel like this conversation is just valuable, whatever gems and just information that you could share in reference to your experience is going to definitely be impactful. So, prior to your first child experience, having a child, what was your kind of idea or understanding about the process and fatherhood?
Well, are you talking about my first child or the one I'm about to have right now?
Well, so, and that's the thing, because you got some wisdom to share, because I'm sure there's some growth there that's very different at that age than it is now. So,
Absolutely.
altogether, yes.
All right, for sure. All right. So when I first became a father, I was young. I was only 20, I believe. Yeah, 20
Mm.
years old when I had my first son, or 21 when he actually came. But I got my baby mother at the time got pregnant when I was in my 20s. So I was a young father, but I was very, very hands-on though out the gate from the beginning because I grew up where my father wasn't in the picture. So I knew that when I grew up, when I have a child of my own, I was going to be the opposite. I was going to be the direct opposite. So I've been super hands-on with my child since day one. Me and my son, due to that fact, is super, super close. We're like more friends than father and son. We do still do things together. He actually keeps me young, by doing that because I get to live through him. And that's one of the things I do like about having children is the fact that you get to now kind of like relive your childhood through them. It gives you an excuse to start playing with toys again. It gives you an excuse to watch things that probably you wouldn't be watching on TV, you know what I mean? Cartoons and things like that. So, and I actually get joy out of that. Like some people might not really get joy out of that, but for me, I'm just a big kid at heart anyways. So it just gave me an excuse, to do them things. So my first go around, although it was a little harder because of course I'm young. But it still was fruitful. It still was, it still was a blessing that I wouldn't take back, but this go around, I feel is going to be a whole different type of experience because I'm in a whole different place, I mean, mentally, physically, financially, I mean, just the whole picture now is going to be way bigger. Technologies and changed, things have changed. I'm looking now at things that you can buy for the child. I'm like, whoa, they didn't have that when I was coming up. Or man, this is gonna make the job a lot easier now. Like one of my biggest things, I used to look at my son because I have a grandchild now. So I used to see my son holding my grandchild. I said, I don't know how to be holding her all day like that. Like I'm not no small guy. And even me, after a while, my arms get tired. So I saw this thing the other day on my Facebook where now they got this pouch thing that you put around your waist and it'll hold the child. So I'm like, man, you know what? We got cool stuff now. So it's gonna be a walk in the park at this time. You know what I mean?
And no, that's beautiful. And I love the carriers. Like those baby carriers are a lifesaver. So just that you mentioned that, I know this experience is going to, definitely be significant in what you're bringing to it and just this energy that you have about it. So as far as like, so I know your wife right now is in her pregnancy. What were the things that were somewhat like an aha kind of thing, like you didn't know coming in, but then it's like, okay, well, this is a part of this process. This is a part of pregnancy. I might need to do more of this, or I might not need to do some of that. Are there any instances of that?
Not yet, because we're getting into. I think we're barely coming out of or going into the second trimester.
Okay.
So she's barely
She's
right
trying
now
to
she's dealing
show.
with a lot of going to the bathroom. So that's what she's dealing
Mhm.
with now. Like always having to go to the bathroom, and she's barely starting to get like headaches, to a certain degree. But she didn't deal with no morning sickness. So far so good. The only thing she's self-conscious with is blowing up, so she don't like when I say, "Ooh, you're getting bigger." Don't use a different choice of words. I'm like, come on, it's the baby, you know what I mean? It's all good. Like you can be bigger if it's the baby, you know what I mean? So right now, that's probably the only thing that's really bugging her at this point. Everything else, I mean, I'm just excited for her to come. I'm just ready for her to get this show on the road.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So this is a little different now, I know, because we're in the pandemic. So just birthing alone has changed in a sense. So as far as, do you have any comparisons right now as far as visits or the idea? Like, was your first child, were they born at the hospital? Were you at that birth? And is that the plan for your next child?
Yeah, so I was a little bit nervous with this pandemic. That's probably the only thing that I'm dealing with. Like, then we bring the child in during the pandemic, so I'm kind of wondering what those challenges are going to look like and what it's going to be like. As of right now, they haven't not let me go into the hospital, so that's been a blessing. So even with her doing the sonogram and things like that, I've been able to be there. And from my understanding, out here where I'm at in Vegas, I will be able to be there when she gives birth. Just no one else can be. And they don't. And now they don't let you come and go. So once I go into the hospital, that's it. I got to stay there. So she's in labor for 2-3 days. I got to be there the whole time. It's no coming and going. So that's a little bit different. But other than that, nope. I was there when my son was born, hands on. The one thing that I didn't get to do that I'm gonna get to do this time is I didn't get to cut my son's umbilical cord because when my son was born, she was having some type of complications where she couldn't have a natural birth and she had to have a C-section. So at first they took me out the room. It was something that happened. It was something where it was something, but I ended up coming in at the last minute, like, all right, come on, you can come in. So I came in as they was cutting her open, and then I was holding her hand and all that, and I got to see him. But for some reason, I didn't get to cut the umbilical cord. I don't know. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'm gonna be there again. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm super hands on when it comes to that type of stuff. And hey, I'm just ready to, like I said, I'm ready to rock and roll with it.
Ah, I love it. I love it. So, as far as like in preparation for having a newborn around, do you have like a village that you kind of, have the support for, when both of you need some rest, or, somebody else can kind of, or do you have family? Do you have that support system kind of set up, or an idea at least of who that will be?
Absolutely. That's the good thing about my family. We're real family orientated. My mom did a good job of that, of keeping us real close. And so now we took that to adulthood. So I actually do have people here. And then one thing that's cool too, another blessing is I bought a house a year ago, and then I had my aunt move in with us. So my aunt actually lives here with me because, she's older now. So I was like, you know what? She lived on the East Coast, always away from the family. So I said, you know what? Let's move you down here with the family and we just get a house together. I'm not that type that, I gotta have my own house and all that stuff, you know. So, and that's why I always wanted for my mother. So I was like, okay, so now she plays that role. So she's right, she's actually in the room right next to my office. So that's a blessing. And she gets to be there from day one. She didn't get to be there where a lot of other, children being born, things like that. So this is gonna be a blessing. We have other family members now. So yeah, that part right there is gonna be cool. And the fact that I work from home, that's another thing. See, we're not typical parents, so we're not gonna like, oh my god, I gotta get daycare. I gotta go to work. It's gonna be stressful. I mean, this is my work. I'm here all day, every day, 365. So, she'll be able to get that rest because I'll take over when it's time, and then vice versa. So we'll be good. We are entrepreneurs, so we got entrepreneur household. We don't go to typical 9 to 5s. So I think we'll be all right.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I love the generational piece too, like the aunt being at the house and to be able to, you know, be a part of the baby's like upbringing, having that, kind of grandmotherly figure in addition to the parents. So I think there's a lot of value in that. And that just, that's beautiful and very generous of you. I know a lot of what the flexibility is, and maybe you can talk about some comparison to that, because like you said, to be in a different place financially than maybe the first go round, and how you came to develop this entrepreneur side of you, because I know that's a significant part of who you are, and how that's going to play a role in the difference between the first time and now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let me actually touch on something else you asked me because I didn't fully answer that question. So you was asking me also the birth process. So right now, we decided to go natural. So she's not even gonna take an epidural.
Okay.
So just go around. And she wanted to do it from home. I don't want to do that because I just don't want, like, if
Not
it's
ready
some
for that.
complications or something like that. But it's funny that she said that, because I had told her, but my mom actually delivered a good friend of ours baby from home. They did a whole home birth. It was yep, I was there to witness it. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was like 4 years old. They did it right in the bathtub, and yeah, it was actually
So
an
is your
experience.
mom a doula or a midwife, or it was just something that she just knew what to do?
So okay, so I grew up in New York around. Okay, so I grew up in the 5% Nation of Islam. Okay, I was a 5%er. So at that time, it was real deep. Like right now, it's a little watered down, but at that time, it was like real militant. It was like the Black Panthers. So it was almost like we're doing for self with everything from education. We're going to educate the Black babies. We're going to teach them to be the greatest. So when they grow up, they're going to be the next Obamas and the presidents and all that stuff, and not just rely on what the school is teaching and all that. So they took the same thing with the babies, because they had their beliefs on what goes on in the hospitals and things like that. So they was like, no, we're gonna do natural births. Everything was natural eating. That's probably why I look the way I look at 47. Because we didn't eat pork early. We ate natural, 100% natural foods, no artificial flavorings, no artificial colorings. So that was we even made our own clothes. So look at what now look. See, so we made our own clothes though, right? So I think that that's the page it was on. So they was like, hey, let's do a natural birth, and they did it, and everything came out great, but I don't know if I'm built for
Okay.
that.
And again, you got to know yourself and how you feel. You can't be stressed or worried. And whatever's going to give you that peace of mind, I'm absolutely in support of that because, the platform here is based off of my experiences, which were all natural births. So, and what I consider like natural is like home births, unmedicated, and basically a lot of what you're talking about. I'm very familiar with the Nation of Gods and Earth. My brothers are a part of that community. So, and the doulas that I work with, surprisingly, primarily are a part of that because I'm in Connecticut, so New York is
Nice.
right there. But so to hear this aspect that you're saying, like I didn't know anything about this part, so this is amazing. So is your mother kind of hands-on or influential in kind of what you all are planning for how you want to move forward in supporting your wife?
I mean, she would have been. Unfortunately, my mother passed away at 57 unexpectedly. I mean, it's one. That's why you always see I always honor her. She's always a part of me. So yes, unfortunately, she's not going to be able to witness this or be here for this. So we're living through her. But answer the other question. Also is about the financial side of things. I feel like that's going to actually be the blessing right now is the fact that I'm super financially secure. So the baby going to be super spoiled from day one. Have any and everything the heart desires, and like I said, we get to be there 100%. So I don't have to rely on, like I said, daycares and anything like that. Like we'll be here from day one, having the best of everything. I mean, like I said, I just can't wait because I already know how the baby's gonna be.
Yes, yes, yes. So I know we kind of jumped around a bit, but you mentioned that the plan that you and your wife have right now is you've agreed to have it in more of a traditional hospital setting, but she definitely wants to go about the process in more of a natural way. So she's opting out of an epidural. She's preparing to have a vaginal birth, and so how did you all come to that conclusion? Was that something that you discussed beforehand? Was there something that inspired it?
Honestly, that one was all her.
Yeah.
She the first child she had. She felt like the epidural. She did get the epidural that time, and I guess even afterwards, she could still feel like the complications. She feel like that's why she still has like back problems sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because in that same area that she had got the shot, so she was like, she just don't want to go through that. She'd rather just do it natural. She feels she can wing it. She can take care of it. We might she was saying we might need to take some classes or something so that we be fully prepared and don't just go in this blindly like, oh my God, I didn't know this was going to feel like this. Shot, you know what I mean? So we don't end up in a situation like that, and we can actually prepare, maybe do the proper breathing exercise or whatever comes with it.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about we just talked about that kind of like last week, potentially looking at something like that.
That's beautiful. And definitely, yeah, it's out there. And now that they're offering virtual classes and things like that, you can do it from home if you can't find anybody where you are. But that's amazing. And then as far as like just the level of comfort, so do you feel like your exposure at a young age to, your what your mom was doing and what your community that you grew up in was doing, do you think that allows you to be more open about, just the choices and decisions around that?
Absolutely. And okay, so look, this is the thing that also, this is funny, this is crazy. But so prior to going into this, right? Because like I said, I'm 47 now. So I feel like I'm closer to 50 than 20. So I was like, what? I'm done with kids. Like, we're good. Life is great. You know what I mean? Now we can start jet setting. We only got one more to go. Get this one out the house, and boom, we about to live a life of just jet setting, seeing the world. Boom. We'll live through the grandkids now. I got a grandchild. We'll live through them. So and true story. So I had a psychic reach out to me, right? She jumped in my inbox. So she was like, hey, I was impelled to do an energy reading. So I was like, all right, I'm open to that kind of stuff. And I'm always seeking spirituality and things like that. And I'm always tapping into that type of stuff. So I was like, all right. So she did a energy reading. It was cool. She came back. She was like, I usually charge to do personal readings, but I just want to do one for you for free. I said, all right. So she did a reading, and it was pretty good because what she did is like she didn't ask no questions. She didn't get no background stuff that she can just start filling in the blanks. She literally just said, all right, what's your name? And are you open to hearing everything, or do you just want to kind of watered down version? I said, I want everything. So, all right. She said, well, I'll send you a YouTube link when I'm done. She sent me a YouTube link. That reading was an hour long. Never asked me any kind of pre-existing questions or any of that. So I was like, this was pretty good. I said, okay.
Okay.
I want you to do one on my wife, because I want to see how well, how hers come out. So she did one for hers. I think it was an hour and a half. It was great. So then when we got back with her, like, man, that was a good reason. It made her go deeper and start talking to her, like kind of elaborating even more on some things that was going to happen. And while that happened, while that was going on, she was like, I'm getting this baby vibes. This is what she said, right? She said, I'm getting these baby vibes, right? I said, hey, I don't know where you're getting that from. I said, because you way off on that. Like, that's just first, you're off now. She was like, no, I'm serious. I'm getting real strong vibes right now. Her mother, my wife's mother is holding the baby, and she got the baby prepared for you guys, ready to give it. And she said, it's a reincarnation of somebody, and but yeah, for sure. And she said, it's a girl. It's a girl. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't know what you're seeing. And then I just said, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, just on say something personal. You're so way off that I have an appointment for next week to get a vasectomy. That's how much way off you are right now.
Oh
As
my
far as you get it's a true story. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to get a vasectomy tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I was like that. It was already on the calendar. So I was like, no, you off. Like, that's how much. And she said, well, if you guys aren't trying to have a baby, you need to protect yourself because I'm getting strong vibes right now. She's super fertile. She will have this baby.
Wow.
Man, a week later, she was like, man, I missed my period. Like, something's off. And then she went and did the test. Sure enough, pregnant. I was like, whoa. I was like, man, I was like, okay, this was meant because see, it was without that psychic, I might have been like really like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like, I'm 47, like for real. We is not trying, and even my wife, she was already like, we're done with kids. I'm good. But by her telling me all that and then saying somebody reincarnate, first thing come my mind, that could be my mother.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm like, dang, man, like, okay, it's a hard decision. So I started doing pros and cons, pros of keeping it, pros and cons of not. And the cons were all like selfish stuff. Like, oh, we can't jet set by ourselves, oh yeah. But I was like, wait a minute, you're financially secure, you're in the best position in your life right now. You can afford it, you can take care of it, you're always at home. Actually, it'll probably give you some more purpose, get your butt out this office, you know what I mean, and spend a little bit more time with the family. Because that's what I'm guilty of, spending like a lot of time in this office, grinding. Because I work from home. So everything's at stake on me. That's how I look at it. It's not like when you have a regular job, you trading hours for dollars. All you gotta do is show up and you're gonna get a check. When you're an entrepreneur, it's all on you. And then being a network marketer, you're in the people business, so it's even worse because if the people, like I tell people, I love what I do because I'm in the people business. I hate what I do because I'm in the people business. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, my finances is relied on other people doing what I expect them to do, and sometimes they don't. So it keeps me in this office. It keeps me grinding. It makes sure that my numbers don't drop and things like that. So I was like, this is going to give us more purpose. And things I'm worried about not doing, or I'm saying we can't do, we're still going to be able to do. Just Now I just got to bring the child with us. And now you see us in Cancun with the baby. You know what I'm saying? Now you see us, jet set. And that's even a better story. Because they're going to be like, man, you get that.
And you
Wow,
got
you went through
support
that.
to bring with you so that you can have your mommy daddy time and somebody you trust got the baby. You good.
Exactly.
You are good.
Exactly.
That is beautiful. Well, I look forward to the pictures. I hope y'all post them up.
Oh, you already know them. You already know how to do it with the pictures. I'll probably overdo it. Come on now.
Yes, no, that's appreciated. And I mean, like time flies, but is there any story or experience or wisdom that you'd like to share with, other fathers primarily, but families as a whole? Because I feel like the male perspective isn't necessarily spoken of enough when it comes to this process because it's transformational for everyone. So in the family, we're all impacted by it. Is there any wisdom or story or experience you'd like to share that kind of exemplifies like just the growth and the transition of fatherhood for you?
Just be present. Just be present. Don't make excuses for yourself. Like as far as like if you end up in a situation where like, okay, so let's say you end up in a situation where it just didn't work out with you and the baby mother. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta go your separate ways, but y'all got this child. A lot of times I feel men, sometimes people you might have a situation where the female might be upset still, you know what I mean, a scorned woman, you already know how that can go. And sometimes they'll use the baby, you know what I mean, against the father. And what I tell fathers, man, is none of that really matters at the end of the day if you do what you're supposed to do as a father. And what I mean by that is don't just take it for granted, say, oh, she keep me from the kid. No, because there's still a court process, and if you take those steps, then they're going to honor it because they like to see fathers actually step up to the plate because it doesn't happen enough. So when they finally see it and they say, whoa, you actually fighting? Like, yeah, I'm fighting. I'm not going nowhere. I'm here. I'm here for custody. I'm here for those for visits. I'm here for equal rights, all that. Then they're going to honor that, and I know because I went through it. They're going to honor it, and they're going to be like, oh, for sure. You trying to be in this baby's life because nothing outside of that baby matters to the courts. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing they care about is if you're abusing that child, you know what I mean? If you can take care, that's it. So if you're not abusing that child, it doesn't matter if you're not in the best position. It don't matter if you ain't, you could be homeless, jobless, all that. Yeah, you might not be having sole custody, but you're going to still get visits on the weekends, So when I see fathers in a situation where they're like, oh, I haven't seen my kid in years, months, years, because of the baby mother. That's a cop out. You gotta do what it takes, to go see it. Because if you put that ball in motion and the sooner the better, then the courts are gonna honor that. Now, yeah, if you've been out this baby's life your whole life and you come in 10, 13, 20 years later talking about daddy, then yeah, you might have some problems in the court. But if you do this from day one and they see that you active and you trying, then you're gonna have better results. Doesn't mean that they're not a little bit more biased towards women. They are, but it's not a situation where she can 100% take you out of that kid's life. And I know that from experience.
Valuable, so valuable, and I truly appreciate that. Presence is everything. Like that, we need that father figure, that father energy, and everything that you bring. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And you know what? The people, it's so much important because, like I said, it depends on what you're dealing with. Like if you got a boy, I don't feel a woman can teach a boy how to be a man. It's just you can't, right?
No.
But then the same thing if you have a female, if you have a girl, we're the girls, daddy's girls, right? Daddy girl, and then mama's boy. So without that, what do you always end up with seeing when a female grew up without a father? She's looking for love in the wrong places, broken, got daddy issues, all these different things you're dealing with, right? What happens when a boy doesn't have a dad? Well, eventually you're going to grow to a certain age that your mama's voice ain't going to be loud enough. And she can't put that fear into you like that no more. You better stop. What you going to do? Mom, I'm bigger than you. I got enough respect not to hurt you or do anything, but you can't really hurt me no more, mom. Even at 16, 17, we're the same size now. You know what I mean? I'm bigger than you. So it's going to take the dad. And I know that from experience because I grew up kind of in the streets and it was a direct reflect of my father not being there. I always tell people the story because of how it happened. I got involved with gangs and all these different things. And it was 100%, I could say to this day, because I didn't have a father in my life. Because at the time, I was just a regular old kid, minding my business, coming home from school. I was I'm from the West, so we got a problem with gangs, Bloods, and Crips. I was coming home. My favorite color is red. I was coming home from one day. Some Crips saw me. It was like, hey, man, what you doing with all that dead on? Like, what you talking about? It's my favorite color. I don't bang, man. You need to go home and take that, take that off. And I was like, man, I told you I don't bang. Why you tripping on me? I said, yeah, if I ever see you again, it's gonna be some problems. Well, even though I didn't bang, I had some family members that did. So when I went to the house, I told him, I said, yeah, some Crips around the corner just, sweated me about, wearing red, And he was like, what? Where? I said, right around the corner. So they said, show me. So they went back around the corner. I went with them, and then they hit him up. They was like, hey man, you messing with my relative? You got a problem with my relative? And instantly the Crips back down. They was like, nah, we ain't got no problem. I said, nah, you was hitting them up. What's that in blood? And they was like, nah, we ain't got no problems. And instantly I was like, dang. So if I was a blood, y'all would have back down like that? That's all it took for me to put y'all back down. From that day, I started gang banging. I became a blood. Now, let's fast forward. Let's rewind. What if when I came home, instead of talking to a bunch of gang members, I said, Dad, around the corner, I just got into it with some people and they over there sweating me. And my dad goes around the corner, like, y'all have a problem with my son? And same scenario, but the difference is a grown dad went there instead of a bunch of young gang members. You see what I'm saying? And that would have been influential to me. And I would look up to my dad instead of looking up to these gang members, and I would have probably never went down that path. So these are the type of things I teach people, tell people, like, this is the reason why fathers are so important, because it's going to be your first person you go to. It's going to be the person you look up to. It's going to be a person that you emulate. It's going to be the person that's going to help shape you to be the man that you need to be. And if that person ain't there, then you're going to get that in all the wrong places. You're going to get that from the streets. You're going to get that from, outside influences. You're going to get that from people that ain't got your best interests at heart. And the same thing go for a woman. It's even worse for a woman, because
you have no protection.
Yeah, no protection. So now who's gonna protect her? Again, mother only can do but so much. And depending on how the mother was raised, who knows? The mother might not even be equipped to properly set her up right to get to that next day, because she got issues as well. And oh my God, then it just becomes a generation of, like, oh man, you just keep reading the same thing. That's how sometimes we see like a young bitter woman, like, why are you bitter already? Well, because the mama might have been bitter at the house, and you just kept hearing negativity, and you don't need a man. You can do this all alone. You don't need. Yeah, now you got that mentality. So now you're alone, single. No, we all need somebody. We was meant to have a mate. You know what I mean? God made us so we have a mate. We're not supposed to be by ourselves. So when I see even people push that narrative, I'm like, man, it's so sad, because you don't even realize what you're missing out on by having somebody in your life. And here you are. And you know what I dread? I hate to see somebody overplay their hand. See, it's easy to have that attitude while you're young, right? Because we're young, I can go find somebody. What happens when all of a sudden you wake up like, oh my God, I'm 50?
Yeah, and by myself.
Yeah, you ain't just going out in the street just gonna pick up somebody. You know what I mean? Where you go? You ain't in the club no more. You look crazy in the club now. So now you gotta be now you're on Wish or something, right? You on what's that with that website or something to go meet people?
Yeah.
You gotta be on something like that now, you know what I mean? Because you can't even use traditional ways of meeting somebody because you overplayed your hand. And you always said what you didn't need. Now that you need somebody, who wants to die alone? You see what I'm saying? So now that you need somebody, ain't nobody there to get. So yeah, it's the importance of a father, and really both parents, but a father is strong because it can shape everything and mold everything within that household, especially if he's a real leader and a good father. It can't just be somebody just making babies. It gotta be somebody that's really playing that position, so that everybody knows they can count on that person. That person is really the head of the household, making sure that everything is solid, and then it just trickles down from there.
Oh my God, I can't you have dropped so much, like, just so much value in just this conversation alone. And I am grateful to be having this conversation with you. And just from life experience and your perspective, it is so valuable and so needed to hear this from a successful Black man, like, just to have that visual of the possibilities and to hear your story and to see where you are right now. I came in contact with you from an entrepreneur standpoint, and I see your genius. And that's what gives me the level of respect that I have for you. So that's kind of definitely a segue into the next aspect of this, which is, we're wrapping up. 30 minutes went by so quickly. But I definitely want people to know who you are, how to get in contact with you, and some of the things that you're doing, because the entrepreneurship alone and the ability to have the flexibility to be home and present with your family is something of extreme value. So please, let us know what it is that you want to share and how people can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. So I'm a network marketer. Okay. So for those that don't know what that is, it's the basically market through your network, so it's networking with people, dealing with people, doing the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, but you just never got paid for it. You went to a great movie, you came back. Look how many black people made the Black Panther so much money. None of us got paid for it. But we all came home to, oh my God, you guys got to go see that movie. Oh my goodness, man, it's finally a black super. Well, okay. Boom. You go to eat Ruth Chris for the first time. Oh my God, that was the best steak I had. I'm so juicy. Really? All right, I'm gonna go check it out. And you've been doing it all your life, but you haven't been getting paid for it. So all I did was use the same skill sets that we've been using, but learned how to get paid for it. And that's what pretty much network marketing is. A lot of times people overcomplicate it, think you gotta be a salesperson. No, you gotta be a master sharer, not a master seller. So share the opportunity and let people make their own decisions. So that's what I do for a living. Okay. I'm real good at it. I earned 6-7 figures. I'm getting to 7 figures now, but I've earned high 6 figures. Long-term 7, but I mean, just boom, like look at my bank 7. I ain't there yet. So that's my goal for 2022. I'm actually launching my own company this year. I said, hey, I done made all these companies enough money, made them millions and millions of dollars. Why can't I do the same thing I'm doing for them for myself? Which I can. So now I'm going to start my own company this year, fall back from promoting everybody else's stuff. And that should be good. And where to find me, you can find me pretty much anywhere under Caujuan. So Facebook.com/Caujuan, TikTok.com/Caujuan, Instagram.com/Caujuan. If I happen to have multiple channels, Caujuan Mayo. But you can find me. You just put Caujuan in Google. Oh, here all this stuff right here. And that was done on purpose and strategic as well, because I mean, even if you forget, oh, I know you said Caujuan, I know his name, boom, oh, there he is, and you'll be able to find me, versus just having some generic name out there. I feel like branding is everything. You know what I mean? So the more you brand yourself, the bigger you'll become, and the more you become a household name. There's not a kid in the world that if you ask them right now, do you want a hamburger? What's the first place they're gonna say?
McDonald's.
Exactly. It don't matter if there's a better burger over there, In and Out. It don't matter if Burger King got the Whopper for half price. They're going to go to McDonald's because them golden arches is ingrained in their brain. And they did a great job with marketing, from the golden arches to Ronald. And there's not a kid in the world that don't know that. So that's going to be your go-to. Is it because they got the best burgers? No, it's because they did a great job at branding that company. So I use that same model, when it comes to my business, and it's just worked out tremendously for me. It was the best advice I ever got from somebody else that I respect in the game, and it was at a time when I was struggling. A lot of people be struggling, in the beginning. And I was like, man, I got out of drive and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Well, I'm not getting the results that I expect to get. So you got to brand yourself. Yeah. Okay. Well, that stuck with me. And from that day forward, it was Caujuan everywhere. Caujuan Mayo, Caujuan Mayo, Caujuan Mayo. And now it's like a household name.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. So definitely keep us posted on your new ventures, because again, I have a lot of respect for what it is that you do. I know it's going to be successful, whatever it is, and I'm definitely interested. So
appreciate you.
I appreciate it. I truly appreciate your family. Y'all got to come back for this birth story, you and your wife. But thank you for taking the time out. I value your time. I know it's valuable. So thank you, everyone. If you found some valuable in the information shared tonight, please share. Tell a friend. We will be continuing these conversations because they are much needed. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace and blessings, family.
Peace.